Good morning, guys. Welcome to the Sam and Leah Show. Happy Monday. We've come here to visit with you, hang out with you every Monday, where we're on a mission to become our best selves and we're taking you along for the ride. So, how was your weekend?
It was really and, I was trying to think of a word to describe it. It was just really family oriented. Went up to my parents' house in Tuscaloosa and got to see my daughter who I hadn't seen since it'd been a month, over a month since I had seen her. So it was nice to be able to go visit her, see her. Got to show my little boys her dorm, which we say, want to go to Josie's house.
Hmm.
So got to see Josie's house. They were obsessed with the beds being lofted, and walking all over campus and things like that. So it was really good. It's a 4-hour drive. That part, I'm not really excited about. And I have good news. She made the volleyball team, the club volleyball team at Alabama.
Nice.
So roll tide. And we just looked at the calendar and we will be up there between Fall Family Weekend and her volleyball schedule. We will have to do that 4-hour drive 3 weekends in a row.
Oh, wow.
So I am
Okay.
requesting all good books on tape, any
Hmm.
good
On
podcast.
tape. I love that you say on tape.
Showing how old I am. Any good books on tape, that Jared and I could listen to or do,
Mhm.
or like what would be something good to make the time pass by. On Sunday on the drive home, we watch football. Like I'll watch football and just put it over the whole car and he listens and we jump around from game to game to game. But, um, yeah, 3 weekends in a row. Now I'm obsessed with the fact that we get to go to an Alabama football game. We get to go watch her play volleyball, and then we get to go travel to Auburn, to watch her play volleyball, but it's gonna be a lot of driving, 3 weekends in a row in October. So,
Yeah,
there's
that
that.
is that is a
But
lot.
how was your weekend?
It wasn't bad. I've been so tired, and my dreams have been crazy, so vivid,
Same.
and this happens to me a lot when there's a full moon, also. Which tomorrow there's a full moon, and I think
Okay.
also an
Okay,
eclipse,
that's making
so things
sense.
are a little heightened and crazy.
Okay.
So I've just been really drained, so tired. But I did make it out to see my stepdad. Laura was
Alright.
asking to go see him, so we went and visited him. And things are definitely changing. He's a lot more tired. He sleeps a lot
Yeah.
more during the day.
Okay.
His appetite is definitely
Gone.
decreased.
Mm.
He still eats, but he's not eating as much as he was and not as hungry. And the thing that sucks is like he's just really irritable. Like he's
Yeah.
just not in a
Yeah.
great mood, which I mean, he's
Who would be?
dying. I don't expect
Right.
him to be, but it makes it hard for us
Yeah.
because even when we just wanna call and check on him, he's, like, annoyed that we're doing that. He's like, "I'm
Yeah.
fine." Like,
Right.
"Nothing to report. Thanks for calling." Like,
Do you guys
he's,
have
like, over it.
a camera on him? Like a monitor when he's home alone, like a little like this
No,
is our camera that I have pointing at our pool as our pool's being built. That way, if we leave the house, we can check on
like
the
a
pool
webcam.
guys.
No, he does have one of those, like, life alert
Oh, okay. Okay.
things because he's working with hospice.
Yeah.
Which here's another thing I didn't know. So, when you're working with hospice, I guess that he's gotta stay at home unless he gets to a point where things that are happening cannot be managed at home with meds, then
Mm,
they'll admit him to the hospice center
gotcha.
but the plan is get him to a point where they can discharge him and send him back home, and everything
He
could be
he could pass
taken care
there.
of just with
Yeah.
medication. Yeah, so it's like really is just on us, like myself and my 2 stepsisters, like he's
Have they been down
probably gonna
recently?
die at home. Hmm?
Have they been down recently or they stayed home for a
Yeah,
while?
no, I mean, they alternate. The
Oh,
one flies in from Chicago, like, my sister from Chicago leaves Tuesday, my sister from California flies in Wednesday. And then she's gonna be here a little bit, and then they're gonna alternate, and then my other one's gonna come back for, like, a couple weeks. It's just they've been
wow.
kind of going back and forth, and luckily, their jobs have been super supportive and, like, family leave and, paid time off, and they can also do things from home, so they'll
Home,
just bring the
yeah.
laptop with them, hook up to the
Right,
Wi-Fi, and, like, do stuff.
right.
It's harder for me, which is so funny. It's like I'm the one that's the closest, but I run my own business. I'm an entrepreneur. I don't get family leave. I don't get paid time off.
Right,
Like, I'm a one-man
right,
show. Like, I have to show up, and I have to do work, and I have to,
right,
so it's the 3 of us have been able to, you know, work together to try to
right.
make sure that somebody's with him and he has everything he needs. But it's just crazy. Like I thought that he would be, because my dad he used hospice, and he died in the hospice facility. So I thought that like once you kind of get to this point, they admit you and then they kind
Yeah.
of care for you there. But
I
I guess
think,
it's
yeah.
only if whatever's happening can't be managed by
I
medication
think that's
at
the
home.
old school way. I think now more people wanna be at home when they pass with loved ones, as many as possible around. So I think, they've changed it. My grandmother passed away with hospice in the nursing home. They didn't have that whole take them home part of it yet,
Yeah.
and I think that because again, that was 20 some years ago. So I think now it's really getting people back home. Here's all the heavy meds that they need to be comfortable and spend time with them and let them pass in their own comfort of their own home. I think it's awesome to not be in a sterile environment, where there's
Mhm.
sounds and people coming in and out constantly and things like that. So that's good. I mean, it sounds like a different face because every time I talked to you before, it's like he's fine, and now it's like
Yeah.
now you're starting to see it a little bit more.
Yeah. He was like eating a lot and
Yeah.
in good spirits, and
Yeah.
now he's just like over it. He's over it. He's just ready to go. He doesn't want to linger. He doesn't.
Right.
And so we're in week 7 now, and they gave him single digit weeks. He is doing better than they
Expected.
expected. So they don't know. I mean, I don't know if in the next 2 weeks it's just going to take a crazy turn. So
Yeah.
probably will be here a little bit longer, but plus it's like we don't know what's going on, like because he's got lesions on his brain. I mean, he could have a seizure. He could, there could be internal
Yeah.
bleeding from it because it's
Right.
traveled through his GI. Like it's just we don't
I
know what's going to
yeah, I think the worst part, my grandmother had brain cancer or brain tumor, and I think when their brain gets so affected that, like, they stop speech, and then
Mm,
they stop being able to stay awake, and then it's like you're just like, they're gone, and you're
yeah.
just it's a body laying there. I think that like, I would have rather her just, like, gone, but instead, she was like that vegetable state for a long time, and everybody had to come and
Mm,
say their goodbye, and it was just like,
yeah.
once it hit the certain part of their brain, it just turns everything off, and so
Yeah.
that's tragic, but it reminds me of Jared and I just watched a show when you're talking about somebody with terminal cancer that just wants to control it themselves. We watched a show on Netflix called The Perfect Couple. It's a
Oh, with Nicole Kidman? I
Yes!
want to see that. I haven't watched it yet.
We binged it in one day,
Okay.
so good, but in there is someone with cancer, and she has 3 pills that she could take if she chose to end her own life, in
Oh,
their state, it was allowed, and so
okay.
that just reminded me being in control of it, and
Yeah.
that's what this woman says on the show. She's like, "I just
Yeah.
wanted to make the call. I didn't
And
want it."
just, like, maintaining your dignity, I think, is a huge
Yes.
part, which is ego, right?
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, you want to have some kind of control on what people are experiencing with you, right? What
Right.
they get to see, what they get to
Right.
watch you go through, and
Right. So speaking of control, you guys, we have an opportunity for you to take advantage of a free workshop tomorrow. It's tomorrow.
oh, yeah. Yes.
I mean, it's tomorrow.
I
Like,
know.
Leah
It's coming
Leah and
fast.
meaning control, like, if you are going through a divorce, which a lot of you, that's why you follow us, is for divorce advice and co-parenting advice. If you are going through a journey where it's high conflict, your kids are being affected, you know that this is not a good environment for your children, you're struggling with this relationship, Leah's gonna fill you in on the details of this, and we will put a link in wherever you're watching this from so that you guys can, and we have never given a free workshop before. And I'm just gonna tell you now, there are thousands of people signed up for this workshop, so make
Yes.
sure there's gonna be a replay. So if you sign up, you're gonna
Yeah.
get the replay. Don't freak
Yeah.
out. You will get the replay.
We are
But
doing it live. So tomorrow, Tuesday, September 17th, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Pacific. If you can't come or you can only come for a little while, that's okay. When you enroll, we'll send you the replay right to your email after it's done because it is live. So you're not going to get it when you first enroll. We have to do the workshop first and then we're
yeah,
going to send it to you. But in this workshop, we're going to go over 5 really, really important things. Number 1 is understanding your child's love language, effective boundary setting, self-care strategies, tips for smooth transitions, and
yep,
successful phone calls. This is your workshop if you are in a more of a high conflict co-parenting dynamic. This is going to help you empower your kids and protect
yes,
your kids while navigating this type of relationship. In a high conflict co-parenting situation, it's so easy to feel overwhelmed and unsure of how to best support your child,
Right.
especially when the other person is doing and saying crazy shit, right? You don't know what to
Mhm.
do. So this workshop will empower you with the tools and the knowledge that you need to navigate these, let's say, turbulent waters with,
Right, right,
with confidence, right? You're going
right,
to go from feeling like confused and powerless and stressed to being proactive, staying calm, having,
right.
being a more effective co-parent, or even parallel parenting is probably what a lot of you will have to do.
Right,
We're going to equip you with all those tools.
which is what, somebody asked me about the workshop. They're like, "Is this gonna teach parallel?" And parallel is what we teach, but it
Right.
is so hard that a lot of people don't know that term yet, so
Yeah.
that's why we describe it as co-parenting with somebody of high conflict, which brings me to the point that I wanted to talk about today. I have fell down the rabbit hole on TikTok
Okay.
of this couple that were TikTok influencers, TikTok people, like they shared their lives on TikTok,
Okay.
who are now going through a divorce.
Okay.
And when I tell you this is a train fucking wreck that is occurring on social media right now in real time, live, and they go live every night, the both of them on their own pages.
So is it
And
like a
they
smear campaign situation? Like what's happening?
I have been following the journey for about a week, and here's what I will say. If you wanna learn about narcissism,
Mm,
go follow this couple, and I'm
mm,
not gonna say which one I think is the narc, but it's very obvious if you know anything about narcissism which one it is.
okay.
And I'm talking about at one moment it's a smear campaign, at the next moment it's this, "I want what's best, for this person." It's like, flip flop, back and forth, and just spewing financial details and
Oh boy.
dating details. And then one of them, it was like yesterday was like, "I'm going on a date with somebody. How do I look?" It's like, your divorce happened 30 seconds ago. Your filing for divorce happened 30 seconds ago. And now you're already jumping ship and on a date with like, and you're posting about it. They're talking about kid. Everything is public. Like, I think she kept her mouth shut for a long time. She was gonna do this, like, series of, like, day 1 of announcing my divorce, day 2, and it got twisted, turned, and flipped upside down, and then he just kinda went on a of, "Let me tell you everything," and she kept quiet, she kept quiet, she kept quiet. Well, then 2 days ago, she was like, "I'm not being quiet anymore." But she said something I watched her on live for, like, 30 minutes yesterday. She said something on live. She said, "The judge told him he can say whatever he wants on TikTok." Now, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if the judge is really saying that.
Even if the judge says legally that's okay, that doesn't necessarily mean that you should.
No, like their kids are of age of social media. It's like one click, their kids could be watching all of these. And we know even if their kids aren't watching it, we know their friends of friends are watching it and sending it to their own children. Like
Yeah. Listen,
it
like we know
oh
this happens. And so this is something that they're on a bigger stage, right? They have their own
yeah,
following, they're,
yeah.
TikTok famous or whatever you want to call it. They have the large platform. So, but we see this with our clients and we're always trying to get them to see it from a different perspective. Like we get it. We get that you want to vent. We get that you want to clear your name. We get that you don't want to be made out to be the villain. We get that the other partner might be lying or whatever that is. Everything will come to the surface in
Yes.
time. You don't have to try to
Oh,
be the
it's
ringleader of
so
that
bad.
circus. In fact, I highly recommend that you don't, because when you're in the middle of that shitstorm and your emotions are high, you are not going to be making the smartest, most strategic decisions. You're going to be emotionally reactive. You're going to be triggered and you're going to be doing and saying things that maybe 6 months from now, a year from now,
I just
you would never have done that or said that. So, highly recommend that you vent to the right people. Get in a support group, talk to a therapist, hire a coach, journal, right? Journaling is
right.
free. You need to get that stuff out and you need to be able to speak your mind and speak your voice, not on
I was watching it last night and I'm thinking, "You guys are gonna have so much regret," and then I was also thinking, like, if you are somebody that needs that much validation from strangers, like, what is going on with your life? Thank you. like,
Yeah. I
because
think
you could
some
just
people
tell.
also feel that they owe it to the people who have a large following sometimes feel like they owe it to their following. Like they owe them an
Yeah, because
explanation. They
they
owe
were a
them, "Oh, here's
family,
what's
yeah.
going on."
Yeah, they were a
Mhm.
family that did they did everything, and I think that was one of the reasons if I followed the rabbit hole good enough, she was saying the reason that they one of the reasons she wanted to split is because there was getting to be too much personal stuff about the kids, and she was like, "Eh," and he was like, "I like the fucking money, so I'm gonna keep doing it," and I think money was a really big root of an issue here as I'm putting
Mhm.
pieces together, watching 'em. Last night, I was literally watching one, then I'd flip to the other page, and I'd watch this one, and she was, like, spewing, like, pretty much facts of, like, what was said in court, da, 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 from her opinion, like, from I don't know, I don't see any court files. And then you go over to his page at the exact same time, they're on live last night, which I wanna be like, "Where's the kids?" Um, it was like he would it was bad. So,
Mm.
it's tragic what they're saying about each other, and they have children together and separate, how they have their own kids. I don't see how social media is the place to go
Yeah.
do it. Like,
How did it go with, what's that
gosh,
girl? That girl you like, the podcast, Go Wash Your Face.
what do you mean? What about her?
What was her name?
Rachel Hollis?
Rachel Hollis. Her
Yeah,
and her husband had a very public divorce,
divorce.
right? Because they were a couple and they were out
Mhm,
in the but
yeah.
so how did that go down? Did you follow any of that? Like, did they
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
keep
absolutely. So
things
she
nice and
sh they
cordial?
both kept their mouths shut about each other, and I think now knowing he's passed away, from whatever complications you wanna say with drugs, alcohol, heart disease, whatever ended up being the cause there, don't quote me. She kept her mouth shut. Even with him dead now, she still kind of have kept her mouth shut about him being who he was behind the scenes because and she always says this, "My children will be able to read and hear every word out of my mouth about their father."
Mhm.
And it's like, I mean, I had ammo. I could have blasted my ex-husband in my whole little small town. I could
Mhm.
have. I could have been like, "You wanna read a little something? Here's a little ditty I wrote." And and, like, I could have, but I chose not to because it wasn't so much that I needed the approval of my community because I could have gave 2 fucks about my community and what they thought because they obviously thought he was charming and wonderful and wondered why I divorced him. But it was like, my kids also have to know that I took the high road and
Yeah,
didn't jump on a bandwagon of like, let me as my daughter has said, no matter what, he's still I'm made up of half of him. No
right.
matter what you say, he's still a part of me. And so when you bash on him, it's bashing on who I am because I
Mhm.
am part of him, and so that's why I always kept my mouth shut. But man, it is so hard. But I think having that big public like space that there's 3,000 people listening to this woman talk last night. And I am like, oh my gosh, like in my mind, I'm like, you're being recorded. This is going to come back to you in court. This is going to be held against you. Like all of it. Like the judge may have said, go make whatever TikToks you want, go earn your money because he knows that's how they earn their money. But still, some of the derogatory, slanderous things that they're saying, using each other's names.
Mm,
I mean, if I speak about my ex-husband, I've never said his name,
right.
nothing. I'm not gonna be like, hey, by the way, his name's Ted Bundy. I'm not. They're using each other's names, and I'm just like, which again, well, one image search, you could figure out who each other's are, who they're talking about because they're famous on TikTok. But I don't know. If anybody's listening and you're going through a divorce and you are on social media, this is not the place.
Yeah.
Like I share things, Leah shares things for educational purposes, but not for slanderous purposes. Like, and this is all just slander. Like, he should be doing this, she should be doing that. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like, you guys, I'd always describe divorce as a baseball game. They are literally in inning 2 of 9, and they are talking on about their day-to-day divorce on TikTok, and I am just
Right.
like,
And
"Oh,
they're probably watching each other's stuff too, which is
oh,
gonna make
no,
everything
here's the
worse.
fucked up high school shit that was happening last night." He was on live because again, I'm flipping back and forth. I wish they would have just fucking challenged each other because then we could have just read a split screen. It would have been so much easier. So if you're listening, challenge each other and we can read the comment. But somebody named Danielle was on hers, but was going back and typing on the live stream of him what she was saying, and then the same thing was happening on hers. Somebody was telling her what he was
Oh my
I
God.
never felt like I was in high school hallway before. Then at
Yeah.
45, I like transformed back into high school last night when I was flipping back and forth. And I just kept thinking, are your children on this? Like
Right.
your
And at the end of the day, it's not going to help. Like you're not helping
No.
yourself. You're not helping yourself talking about it, involving other people, putting it out there.
Right.
You have to focus on yourself and your healing, not clearing your name or telling them, what this person should be doing or shouldn't be doing. And none of that is actually helping you and your mental health and your
Right.
emotional state. If anything,
Right.
you're making things worse because you're heightening things. There's going to be things that are going to trigger you. I mean, if I were them, if it was me, I would
Go get a real job and get
I
off
would
social
not be
media.
posting and I would block him on social so that I wasn't. And anybody who came to me and told me, hey, this is what
Yes.
he's saying, this is what he's doing, please do not come to me with that information. That is not anything that I'm interested in hearing. And if you do it
Yeah.
again, I'm going to unfollow you as well.
Right.
It's like you got to block out all that noise and focus on yourself and your kids.
Yeah. And I've done that, like, even with this move, as I was moving, I was going through all of my social media contacts and I'm like, even if this person has a connection to my ex or his side of like town of people, it was like, you're gone. I don't even want to like casually scroll across somebody that's friends with him that just posted a picture with him in it, even though I haven't
Right.
like, I just wanted to cleanse of it. Like,
Yeah.
get all of his and his family and all the people, even though I'm close with his sister, out of here. Like,
Yeah.
see
I
ya.
did the same thing. I unfollowed people, unfriended people just because, I didn't want
And
any of
anybody,
that
like
to
you
be
said though,
triggering me.
anybody that told me about him or was sending me messages, I'm like, "Oh, our friendship over." Like, I didn't ask you for this information, but
Right.
you
You're
keep
just a pot
calling me.
stirrer.
Like,
Yeah. Like,
yeah,
don't
go
want the
stir
drama.
on your own time because I'm not about it. So, again, I'm gonna keep following because for me, Jared was like he was watching the football game, the Bears game, and we were laying in bed, and he goes, "What are you listening to?" And I was like, "It's for work." Like, I'm watching this so I can learn about what are people thinking when
Yeah.
they go through a divorce. And here's what I would wanna know about these people, and then we can go on. Where's their friend circle? Where's their support team? Where's their family saying, "Knock it the fuck off, get off social media, focus on your well-being, go earn some money, go get a good job, and get your ass off social media." Like,
Mhm.
where is that at?
Oh,
So,
well,
like,
I guess it could be happening and they're just not listening too. They could be ignoring good
oh,
advice, but
so much regret there. I think there's
don't
gonna be
recommend. I do not
So
recommend.
again, you guys, if you're just jumping on, make sure you're signing up for our free workshop that we are giving tomorrow. So let's end with a little bit of my favorites, if you can. Like, I am obsessed with these new thermals. Like,
Mm,
I am all about the long sleeve and the V-neck
yeah.
for like fall. I have new sweatpants from Walmart, which 10 out of 10 recommend. Super cheap, super nice, and they're long because I'm a little bit taller in the leg. But these thermals, like, they're Amazon for me, and they're TikTok. I bought a whole bunch from Amazon and a whole bunch from TikTok, and I'm gonna compare. This one is a TikTok one. It's like a knit, but, like, what's your go-to fall outfit? Are you like a sweater and tights? What is your
Yeah, well, since I work
chilly
from
weather?
home, I'm usually in leggings throughout the day because I mean, people are only seeing me from the waist up. So yeah, I do like a sweater. I live in upstate New York, so it's fucking cold. So I do
Yeah.
like a sweater and some leggings if I go
Are
out and
you a
go
layer
outside.
person though? I'm from the generation where we wore tank tops under t-shirts. Like, I'm a layer.
Yeah, if it's
So
cold, if it's
I
really
usually
cold,
wear
I'll layer up.
I like to wear like the crop tank top and then wear like a big chunky sweater cardigan
Yeah,
over the top of it with some leggings. That's
yeah,
usually like
yeah.
my go-to. But I heard tall boots are back.
Oh,
I heard riding boots, like tall to the knee boots are back. I don't know if that's
yeah.
true, but I saw it on TikTok last night, so it has to be true.
I'm just in the phase of my life where I don't give a fuck about like trends because it's never ending.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I will not be a keeping up with the Joneses person. It's a waste of money in my
Yeah.
opinion. Every fucking season, it's like, oh, now this is back. Oh, now these aren't cool anymore. Oh, now look what Kate made. It's like, where would you
I
want?
kept mine. I
Where would
kept
you
my
want?
tall boots from like 10 years ago. I didn't get rid of them because they were real leather. So I kept
Right,
them.
right.
I kept them, but,
Good. Well, now you can wear this.
um
I just think like just wear what you want. It's never going to stop. They're always going
no.
to tell you this is the new thing. This is the new thing. It's like
I also
it's just such
heard
a
that
terrible investment.
I also heard, and this is a trend I will not jump on, that pajama sets are now the thing to wear in public. I wear a pajama set to bed.
Like, as just like an outfit? Just like
Yeah. Like silk pajama sets that are supposed to be for bed are now what you wear out. Oh, our pool guys are here today.
okay.
I'm not gonna get on that one, but not gonna get on that one. So, you guys, we're gonna go because here is something that we're teaching today. Every Monday we come on and we do this show and we just chit chat about gossip and life and
Yeah.
us. But we leave here and we go and teach a training to our next chapter clients, which is about 300 women and growing.
Yeah.
And we help these women with a special training every single Monday. It's different every single Monday. It's about her, it's about him, it's about co-parenting, it's about life, it's about dating, it's about skincare. We cover everything. And it's a paid membership. It's $97 a month and you should join. But today we are giving one about love language. And it's one of my favorite things in the world to talk about. My son is over here on TikTok. Walker's over here live on TikTok with me at the same time. And hitting love languages is critical. It's an unbreakable bond between you and your child. If you know the kind of love language that your child has and wants to have receiving, dude, it is an amazing thing because if you are dealing with a high conflict co-parent, somebody that does not pay attention to your children, they typically don't know what love language your children are. And
Right.
that's why your kids are coming home in a transition day, all distraught, acting like assholes, acting like wild animals, acting like their love tank is on empty because for the whole weekend, their parent did not fill up their love tank, didn't hit the mark, didn't hit their love language. So today we are going to teach those parents what our love language is, how to recognize them, and how to fulfill them, and also how to help your kid when they're not receiving one with that high conflict co-parent. So it's going to be an awesome training. So
Yeah.
we got to duck out to go take care of that, and we'll go from there. Anything else?
No, if you're not in there, get in there. I mean, for less than an hour that you would pay an attorney, you're
Yeah,
going to get all the resources that you need to not only heal and empower yourself after divorce, but empower your
right.
kids on your co-parenting journey and feel confident and have clarity and have less stress and less overwhelm. And everything that you need is in there. We do a new workshop every week, and there's replays that stay in there that you can go back and watch at your own leisure. So
Yes.
next
And
chapter.
somebody saying, switch the bras. I know. We need to talk about bras one day. That needs to be next week, I think. What kind of bras does everybody wear? Like cheap or expensive, wire
Mm,
pad, like sports bra. Like I want to know the deets about bras next week. So that might be what we talk about because that's a really good subject to talk about. I like that Carla brought that up. All right, you guys, we'll be back next week. We're off to do our training on love languages. Hit the link if you want to join samandleah.com. And don't forget there's that free workshop tomorrow.